The point is exercise. You keep the exercise going, you retain your muscle tissue. After you hit the 40s, you start declining because you get people there that are my age and they look more older. They haven't taken care of themselves.
You sure you don't want a coffee?
I'm fine.
Okay.
My goodness, you need drugs, caffeine.
I need a coffee. I don't know. I didn't get much
coffee
sleep
this
last
morning,
night.
an espresso.
Yeah.
I was at 6 o'clock in the morning.
Do you drink coffee every day?
An espresso first thing in the morning, and then after lunch, I got instant coffee.
Okay. And that's
2
it.
cups, I guess.
2 cups.
2 cups a day.
I drink about 2 cups too.
Yeah, no. I don't want to get the habit that I can need coffee every 3 hours or so.
Mm-hmm.
I like, I like the jar in the morning, the caffeine from the espresso, and then a little in the afternoon because we eat a lot of carbohydrates, so it tends to make us sleepy.
Yeah. Do you drink coffee? Do you find coffee helps you with your workout?
I don't use it as to help me in my workout, but coffee helps in concentration.
Okay.
And that's well established medically. So caffeine is help in concentration. And if I help with that, it help with exercise and whatever. But I don't use any, at this stage of the game, I don't need it.
So like if you're like maybe didn't get enough sleep the night before, and then you want to do a workout, but you're feeling a little tired.
I go lighter.
You just go a little bit lighter.
I go at easy exercise instead of doing heavy lifting. I keep the weight light. I go through the routine. I still exercise.
Mm-hmm. Just go a little bit lighter. So in my situation, when I tell you I'm tired and I don't want to work out with you this afternoon, you would say, just go light.
When you go home and you do core, you do some exercises on your own, but still keep the habit. It's just to keep the habit. And I tell the participant that all the time. Keep the habit going because you can make excuses. You already make one. Oh, I don't feel good. Tomorrow, you just pass midnight again, you're going to make another habit. No. And it doesn't take too long to stop exercising regularly.
So like things like maybe some flexibility, some stretching, some yoga, some just light workout.
You do a light workout and just set yourself for a good half hour. If the energy come back to you, you will do the other half hour.
That's true because I find when I'm tired.
It's like when you do cardio. You get on a treadmill, say, I'm too tired, I'm not going to be able to. Start the first 10 minutes, easy, on a treadmill or whatever machine you like. If after 10, 15 minutes, I'm still tired, get off. Because your body needs it. Your body needs to rest. But if once you start exercising, your blood pressure, your muscles, everything your endorphins start kicking in. By the time you realize, God, I went half hour, no problem. Mm-hmm. The point is never try to exercise too late.
That's so cool.
That will affect your sleeping pattern.
Yeah. Yeah, because 9 times out of 10, when you feel tired before a workout and you start working out, you end the workout and you feel like a new person.
Yeah. Your endorphin and your adrenaline is flowing. Adrenaline goes up when we exercise, and the more intense, the more. So, but like you say, you just want to have a good night's sleep, so you go in an easy light workout before 8 o'clock at night. Never exercise after 8.
Why don't you exercise after?
Because I'm not, it perks me up.
Oh, it wakes you up so you can't sleep.
Yeah, it makes you up, and it's going to keep me late. And you have to be here before 7 o'clock every day.
Yeah.
I'm here before 6:45.
Doing classes.
I stretch outside in the morning. I prep the room where I'm going to be exercising core or weights. I help setting up the gym, the equipment, everything.
So what is a typical day for like a guest at Pritikin in terms of their workouts with you?
Well, remember, every participant that comes to the programs get assigned to a team. They get to assign to a team, and they're required to do cardio work every day. They're required to do weight training 3 times a week and core exercises 3 times a week. And there's, in addition to all these other classes that we offer, electives. Let's call them elective. Like the aquatics, like the yoga, like Pilates. They have some elective classes. But mandatory, basically, we can call them mandatory cardio work every day and either core or strength training. That's on their schedule. Depend on what team they're in. If they're in it, the color of the team indicates at what time their exercise is and what classes are going to have. So everybody gets assigned to a specific team.
Based on their ETT.
That's part of it. Based on their ETT, their medical, they get their medical exam. And also we give them a mini test. There's some basic exercises they have to perform.
Okay. So if you got some work to do, then you go into this thing. If you're
some people have a very good cardiovascular, fine, but sometimes they have a limitation in one area. So that you say, wow, this guy can run, no problem. But maybe he has a shoulder injury and then he limited in that sense. So everything has to be evaluated. And based on that, we have different groups. Based on that, and he or she will be upset and whatever based on that.
So you're pretty much doing some sort of workout. You're doing cardio every day. You're doing strength training 3 times a week and core 2 times.
3 times a week.
3 times a week.
If they're in the program, a participant, that's basically what they do. Not me. I exercise every day.
You do strength training every day?
No. I do strength training 4 times a week.
4 times, okay.
Leaving a day in between. Because when you do strength training, you need at least 1 day to recover, to grow. If I work my arm every day, the same exercise every day, instead of getting stronger, you reach a point that it's not going to happen. I'm breaking too much muscle mass, muscle cells. So you have to allow the muscle to grow. But I can do other variation, other exercises. So I exercise every other day. Like, Monday, Wednesday, Friday, Sunday, and then, so I try to space my strength training workout in between. And we have our participants very close to that routine. And then, usually I work my whole body in one session, and then except core. Core, I work it out separately at home because it's easier. You don't need machines to go.
Right.
You put a mat on the living room or in the den and do my core exercises, which take me between 20, 30 minutes. And I had 3 supervisors there watching me. 4-leg supervisors.
Okay.
My dog come and sniff me and say, "Oh, he's alive. He's laying down, but he's alive. He's stink. He's been at work all day."
So as far as the electives go, what electives do you teach?
Well, I do the aquatic classes. I do 4 aquatic classes every day. I teach a Flex 30, which also is a stretching class. It's an elective, but it's a 30-minute class of just stretching, standing, and on the mat. We do stretching. It's called the Flex 30 class. Sometimes I do balance and stability, which is another class which I'm substituting for some of the other instructors. I can do balance and stability.
So you're doing the classes, the strength classes and the cardio classes in the morning, and then you have electives later in the morning and then in the afternoon, right?
I do aquatics mostly.
Isn't that a lot? That seems like a lot. No?
Not really. No, but my day's between 8 to 10 hours a day, so I got to be busy.
But as far as in terms of like a guest going through the program, like when they like...
Yeah, but they're not, what is selective, they're not required to do it.
So who like... who do you...
They're suggested, and I say, well, like some people have issues with their joint or and I say, I think the aquatic classes will help you more because you still want to burn as much calorie as you can through the exercise, which by coming into the aquatic classes, do you have some back issues or something like that? In the water, we're lighter, easy to move and whatever. You can supplement your morning exercise that we're going in the pool. And that will be an elective class for you.
You could do the aquatics class instead of like maybe like a strength class if you have some maybe joint issues or
In some cases,
maybe
some people,
recovering
the
from,
doctors say no weight training for this person.
and then they would go to
And
like
they
aquatics
do
or
aquatics, or they only limit it to a stretching routine,
Mhm.
things like that. Yeah,
Mhm.
that's why we have those elective,
Mhm.
and people can be more. Some cases, they even recommend a one-to-one basis, personal training. We do some personal training.
to
You know, some people, they need it.
Mhm.
People haven't exercised here in 20, 30 years,
Mhm.
and they're in really, really bad condition.
Mhm.
And if they try to, and when you have a class, there's so much time you can allot to every person.
It's a group class.
As a group class. If I have a class of 14, 12,
Mhm.
14 person, I can only have a few minutes with you.
Mhm.
The moment I turn my back, you're probably doing something wrong. I hurt yourself.
Mhm.
But then in some cases, they say, Tony should be doing personal training with so-and-so, or, you know, or go and see Frank and see what Frank recommends for this situation.
Frank, he's a biomechanical.
He's a biomechanical physical therapy, and he can do an evaluation of this person and determine and tell us, hey, listen, add this to the routine.
He needs to work on his, what do you call the muscle back here?
You know, the scapular,
Scapular.
Or on the deltoids, or shoulders, or elbow. You know, some people have old injuries and they never treat it.
Yeah.
And sometimes all it takes is just to start working it out and get that joint back into it. But if they, you know, and Frank is very good to do this.
So you work together with Frank, and then you develop kind of a plan for the guest.
Frank gave us the plan for. He said, "Here, I evaluated Tony. He has this problem. You know," he said, and then we assigned one of us to handle that person.
Mhm.
And other people like to have a personal training. Besides doing this, sometimes they want to work with somebody because people would like to be coached.
Well, and it goes back to what you said about working the same muscle over and over. There's the personal trainers know so many exercises that they can throw it. That they can throw at you in variations. So even if like I find myself kind of doing the same thing over and over, and like just getting I was working out with Mitch the other day, and he, you know,
he throw you some different exercises,
he threw me some different
which work
exercises,
the same muscle groups, but it's from a different angle, and they stimulate them differently. You know, so yeah, there's many ways to skin a cat, right? Now they just say.
Yeah. So you've been here how long?
Been now with Pritikin, total time 34 years.
34 years.
With Pritikin. I started back in Miami Beach.
Miami Beach.
Back in 1988.
Speaking of different exercises, has there?
Oh, the program has changed.
How has the program changed over the last 34 years?
Well, when I started back, one of my classmates asked me to come and help. And because we graduated from FIU, and she used to run the exercise department. And she said, "Can you come and help us?" I was already working part-time for South Miami Hospital too. So I was working for a hospital, but I said, fine. And when I went into Pritikin, I started doing exercise tolerance tests with the doctors. I met Dr. Lair, Dr. Bauer, the founders of the Pritikin program in Florida. So I worked with them, and basically on Mondays, we used to do all day long exercise testing. So they were examined and we test them. I spend the whole day from 8 o'clock in the morning to 1 year. Lair and I were working some people. And I say, Ivan, he say, in 1 hour, it's going to be a new year. It was about 11 o'clock, New Year's Eve. I say, yeah, we're going to be shaking hands in about 1 hour because a new year was coming. It took us all day because it was New Year's Eve. That was funny, man. But things happen like that. And from a little bit of helping, then they start asking me, hey, Ivan, can you go with us a little bit more? So you start adding. And I like the program. It's very different from a hospital setting. Hospital setting, it was different. I was dealing with the HIV virus situation in the 80s.
Oh, wow.
So it was rough. So here it was healthy, a healthy environment, everybody improved. You can get me anybody who comes through the program, they follow the diet, the exercise, their health improve. So sometimes you don't see that in the hospital setting.
Yeah.
Sometimes you see people get more medication or they catch another disease.
Yeah.
You go to the hospital with some situation and you catch pneumonia there
Yeah.
because the germs are all over the place.
Mm-hmm.
So that's the situation So I worked part-time for Pritikin in South Miami Hospital. And eventually I did the transition. I went to Pritikin and I became full-time employee. I would say in the 91, somewhere around that time. And it has changed. Back in those days, Pritikin was a basic mom and pop operation.
Mm-hmm.
We have not even 50 employees. And we were at the Flamingo Hotel, an old hotel. And then I got into, they gave me the job of organizing the walk.
Mm-hmm.
Wednesday, I had to take people for a walk. The walk, we go to the Fontainebleau hotels. In the back of the Fontainebleau Hotel, we have that area that you can walk all the way down to South Beach.
Mm-hmm.
So we used to take people. And I used to organize it so I used to have six employees with me. And then I say, the two fastest guys go in the front. I'm going to have two in the middle. And I stay in the back with another person for the slackers or the draggers or the one that, because some people barely can walk.
Mm-hmm.
I want to go. Take me. I want to go. And within 5 minutes of walking, I'm tired, I can't go no more. So I have to call. And I used to call the limousine service that we used to have in this. And down the streets, they used to come to limousine and pick up 2 or 3 that were falling apart.
Okay.
Because you start as a group, but then it will spread like that.
Yeah.
The faster one go in the front. I got two here covering. And then the slowest one, which I was with the back group, the slower one, and another person helped me. We start losing them. And I have to be the last one. And I used to have a megaphone. Come on, move it.
Did you really?
Oh, yeah, I have it. I still save it because I love my megaphone. And we used to carry walkie-talkies. In those days, there was no cell phone.
Yeah.
We used to host walkie-talkie and say, how's it going on the front row? I got one guy here down. So we have people like helping and putting them in the car and taking back to the hotel. We spend the whole time. So it was a 3-mile walk, basically. You say 3 miles is nothing. But some people, they want to be with the group and they are not physically fit, but they try.
Yeah.
Oh, that was, but it was a good experience. Every Wednesday, we was only once a week. Now we have walks every 3 nights a week or something like that. So, but that was fun. Another thing that we started there in Miami Beach was weight training.
Mm-hmm.
Weight training in those days was an optional class.
Oh, wow.
It's not like here. Here you have assigned to a strength training class. Back in those days, all we had was free weights, dumbbells.
Yeah.
So the way we put it, we set up benches, 10 benches, and we put 10, 8, and 5 pounds free weights in each bench. It was so difficult to get women to do weights. They didn't want to do weights.
Why do they think they were going to get
say that was manly
too big or something?
No, that men are the one to lift weight. No, women. They think that we're going to be developing like a man. Yeah. But then all of a sudden, a marketing person was the one that came out with, Jane Fonda?
Yeah.
Jane Fonda. She was doing aerobic and weight training in something like this. And all of a sudden, women start asking me, is that the exercises Jane Fonda does on TV? I said, exactly the same. Keep your figure pretty, your muscle get firm and tight. Oh, I'm going to be to your class, Ivan, because I was teaching weight training in the afternoon. And all the ones that were a couple of old veterans from the Army back in those days from World War II, lifting, No, all of a sudden the class started filling up with the women. And the class that they were coming to the weight training class. And eventually reach a point that we say, weight training? We know, we learned this in school. It was part of the curriculum. And that weight, we call it progressive resistance exercise. It was part of it. So all of a sudden, weight training become. And from that, they all of a sudden, Pritikin got us a multi-unit. like a multi-unit. It's a machine that you can work from different angles.
Mm-hmm.
And we got that, and we start making progress in terms of strength training. So strength training became part of the program, but not at the beginning. At the beginning, all we were using, it was the room was half the size of the gym we have here. It was in a horseshoe shape that was surrounded by treadmills, very old ones. They used to be with a level. When you like driving a truck,
Mm-hmm.
and you want to go faster, you move the level forward, and you hear that sound cranking up. They were very strong. I love those treadmill. It makes so much noise. Imagine 20 of those in a room. Looked like we were in a factory. That was the first. Until eventually we start getting better equipment as time progressed. And then bicycles start coming in. It was like everything else. It was modernizing. But at the beginning, it was like that. And you adapt to whatever
Mm-hmm.
is was coming.
So like the strength training was just like like you did strength training with the free weights, but you just kind of, it just became popular.
It became popular.
Mm-hmm.
But in the
Before
beginning,
it was like kind of
in the beginning of the 90s.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's
Prior to
crazy
that,
how, like,
women's didn't
yeah.
do no weight training.
It's crazy how something can become popular just based on a movie.
Well, a movie or, it's like same as Arnold.
Mm-hmm.
Arnold became wow. They've been muscle man since history.
Yeah.
Back in the Hercules days.
Mm-hmm.
They were not around, but I grew up in the 50s. And in the 50s, there was Hercules.
Mm-hmm.
Movies called Hercules. Big muscle guys. That's all the job they used to get, the actors.
Yeah.
Hercules movie. And they were the big muscle guys.
Yeah.
Until Arnold changed the lifestyle.
So the place kind of modernized a little bit.
We were getting,
and then currently, I mean, eventually they added DEXA scans and Fit 3D scans.
DEXA started back in Aventura.
Yeah.
We didn't have DEXA scanning. Back in those days, we started. The program used to be a 13-day program or a 26-day program.
Mm-hmm.
That's how when I started with Pritikin. So people didn't sign for a few days here or a few days there. You signed either for 13 days or for 26 days. That was the only two options. That's the way Nathan Pritikin designed the program.
But you guys always kind of tracked the improvements of the guests and their heart rate and
that was physiologically, yeah. That's what people get assigned a target, a training heart rate. They will, and the doctor go over the whole process and explain it. And we were already dividing people based on their fitness level.
Mm-hmm. So that's kind of the one constant is like
that has been pretty close. It's been we have modified a little more because there's better studies going on,
more tests that you can do,
and yes, and since I have improved, everything is moving forward.
Yeah,
it's like everything else.
What are some of the new machines that we've gotten recently?
Well, right now the latest machine that we have some treadmills. That in the past, the treadmill used to go to 15 degrees. Mm-hmm. Now, this new treadmill that we have, brand new, they can go 30 degrees up mm-hmm. here. They're like climbers. Mm-hmm. So people don't have to go so fast, but they have to hold on because 30 degrees is up here.
Why would you increase the incline versus just increasing the speed?
There's different forms. You can use either speed or elevation. Mm-hmm. to stimulate the heart rate and increase the workload. So you don't have to do both, mm-hmm. one or the other. Some people can walk with an elevation, but they cannot run. They have
I see. Yeah.
So instead of putting them to, not everybody's going to run.
Yeah.
So just give them a little grade, 5%, 10. And that's how the exercise tolerance tests they're different kinds. Mm-hmm. Some of them, they have elevation only. Some of them, they're flat because person cannot do any elevation. Yeah. And some, there's the standard ones that are the main one. It's called,
It seems like no matter what condition, like there's always a option to
nowadays
exercise.
A lot of options. Nowadays, mm-hmm. a lot more option and variation that when we can take anybody now, even modified.
Mhm.
You know, I have even worked with people with mild strokes.
Mhm.
They have suffered what is called TIA, transient ischemic attack, and they're partially paralyzed on one side of the body. They still not totally, they're not total, but I can work with them. We can put them through some specific exercise, and even in the pool, we can have them some exercises.
And the one thing that we're all going to have to deal with is just exercising into as we get older. Because as we get older,
Well,
our body starts to.
That's a must.
So how do you? What are the some of the challenges of aging and staying fit?
As we age, your metabolic rate decline.
Mhm.
It happens to us, all of us. Otherwise, you will see baseball player playing with 80 years old out there. I would say around 40 years old is the time your body starts seeing significant change. You see baseball, basketball, football. When you got a guy who's 40 years old, they call him, you're an old man.
Tom Brady is what, 42?
A little, almost 45, I'd say.
Oh, really?
But he's 1 in 100.
Yeah, he's like a.
Okay, and he's been well protected because he's a quarterback, and you know that he has a lineman, and they've been good with him. Because if they leave him open, one of those big guys from the other side will run him over.
Yeah.
And destroy him.
Yeah, and after a game, he probably goes to the back and gets iced up.
And he already every year he claimed that he's gonna resign. He's quitting, but we'll see. But 40 years old, I find that is when your body start making some serious change, especially if you haven't been exercising regularly. If you exercise regularly, I exercise most of my adult life, so my transition was kind of even.
Mhm.
Even though I know that I cannot do what I used to do at 40,
Right.
but my transition has been, I still exercise. I still can move and keep up. And
how old are you?
I'm 70 years old.
70 years old. I think when I first met you, I thought you were like 60.
No, I'm 70.
But when I heard
1952.
That's impressive.
Yeah.
That's impressive.
Yeah, but because, maybe I have those genes that help me and keep me, and I have taken care of myself.
Mm-hmm.
I never had the habit of smoking,
Mm-hmm.
bad habit of drinking,
Mm-hmm.
one glass of wine here or something like that. But I've never been some people that abuse their body. Like when I have my class reunion, every 10 years we used to go to our high school reunion, and then you see missing people. And say, all the smokers are gone. They're already dead in my class. Those were the heavy smokers in high school.
Yeah.
And now, then the second generation now, the last time I went, many heart attacks and cancer. And I start looking around, the groups start getting smaller as we age. And we cut down. We have our high school reunion every 5 years. Because if we wait 10 years, there were going to be nobody there.
Oh, wow.
So it's happened.
Yeah. So what are some of the maybe exercises that you used to do maybe 10 years ago that you changed and did a variation?
The main I was running. I was when I finished college. In college I was an athlete. I did judo. Judo is a form of martial art, but it's an Olympic sport, and it's like wrestling. Okay, and you get a lot of injuries. Which at this stage of the game, I won't be doing it because I cannot afford to get injured right now. But I did judo. I did well. I made the school letter, and I have a scholarship. When I start judo in college, they pay everything for me. So I got a good opportunity. But then, when I got married and settled down, I said, what am I going to do now? I still like exercise. I was reasonably good shape. This is the 70s. I say, I'm going to start jogging. Jogging became very popular in the 70s. Everybody was jogging. And we have a club here in Miami, the Miami Runners Club. I was a member of it. And we met every Saturday morning, and we used to run. I used to do 16, 18 miles on a weekend. And the advantage with that was that you can eat. with impunity.
Yeah, you can eat.
Oh, I have no mercy. I can have a whole pizza.
Do the Michael Phelps diet.
Oh, I could eat a whole pie and not gain a pound. On the contrary, I was lighter than I am now. But then with time, when you pass your 40s, you're 50, arthritis starts setting in, especially those joints that have suffered injuries and things. And I say, I cannot go on, because the moment I met with the doctor and they look at my knees, they get funny, they start saying, oh, we can replace your knee. I can put your good knees there, good for 10, 15 years. And I say, my knees still work. Why he want to replace my knees? You know, it's the medical establishment money. And I say, no, I'm still good. Why don't we use something? Oh, well, those other things are not approved or this or that. He wants to replace my knees because he say, this guy's fit. I put a new knee on him and he recovered fast and I look good. And at the same time, you know, I put a $15,000 knee on him. I say, and so I didn't do it. And I still have my old knees. What I did, I stopped running.
Stop running.
The year 2000 or 2001, I haven't run anymore. I don't do no races or nothing. I used to run like crazy.
Yeah.
No local races, marathon, everything. And I love it. Every time I see people running, I miss it.
Yeah.
The only place you see me run, in the water. In the pool, when I'm more working with people, I move because in the pool, I'm lighter. You don't weight the same way you weight out here. So when I get in the pool and I start doing circles and keep move people, go, move it. I'm exercising myself and I'm doing my running in the water. So it keep me light. I weigh probably half of what I weigh out here. And I do the exercises in the pool. That's why I teach inside the pool.
Yeah.
I jump in. I take advantage of the opportunity to exercise with them. And it seems like they like it too. Hey, the instructors, sometimes they say, why the other instructor? I don't want to put them and say, they don't get in the water. Say, well, every instructor have their techniques and whatever they want to show an exercise. Do this, do that. But outside, people like to see the guy leading from the front. And I do it. I don't know how long I will be keeping that trend, but so far it works for me in terms of exercise. So I do my cardio classes in the pool and I do my weight training, like I mentioned to you.
Do you use like, instead of maybe using free weights, do you use more machines or do you use like...
No, I combine them.
You combine. But
like when we have the COVID situation, I was locked in at home. We were in, for a while at the house. I was using free weight. I went back to the old system. I have weights at home. I have a rack of weights. I have benches. And I was working at home because I didn't have access to the weights. And I was not going to the gym. Because I used to belong for 4 gyms here.
Just in case you wanted to change it up a little bit, huh?
No, because when you reach 65 years old and you become you're on Medicare, they call you a silver sneaker.
Okay.
And I became a silver sneaker. It's funny because the first time I went to apply, they look at me and say, you need to prove your age. What do you mean? Because you don't look like you're 65 years old. And you have to show that you are 65 to become a silver sneaker. You get some discount and stuff. Probably. Here's my driver's license. And that was it. And I became a silver sneaker. Because usually you see the older people in the gym, the commercial gym, LA Fitness, You Fit, all these gyms that I used to go. Older people, really old. And I go and I work out with the monsters out there.
And just speaking about aquatics, like for some reason I always thought aquatics of being like an easy exercise for some reason because you're in the pool and it doesn't. But when I saw you doing the aquatics class,
you need to jump in.
I need to jump in but I got tired just watching you guys.
It's matter. No, it can be depend on. I always measure my group, and I know them from the gym.
Yeah.
So I know their fitness level and whatever. And if I have a group that is less fit than the other, so I control the exercises. and I do an exercise everybody can at least can perform. Because and usually maybe you have one young one that you say, oh man, this is baby stuff. Could be baby, but all the other ones that are there, it's in my age category. They're older people, 60, 70 years old. So, and
I'm going to do a Pilates class with Ellie. And that's
perfect.
Because I do mainly free weights, but like it's when you do like the Pilates and the elective stuff, like the Pilates, the yogas, the aquatics, to me it hits muscles that you don't really hit with free weights, and it kills me.
The point is exercise.
Yeah.
If you, no matter what, you keep the exercise going, you retain your muscle tissue. Like I mentioned earlier, after you hit the 40s, you start declining.
Yeah.
And you age at a slower pace than the rest of your peers, because you get people there that are my age and they look more older, but they haven't taken care of themselves.